Trigger warning, this video is going to show more Diablo footage than BlizzCon did this year.
But good old Blizzard decided they wanted to one-up Microsoft. We can do better. We're going to take that crown from you. Move over, Star Wars Battlefront 2. EA, sit down. Watch how a professional shoots himself in the foot.
So, as appreciated as Jim's video on Diablo 3 and taking the piss out of Blizzard, this comes with a power level warning. With all due and total respect, I don't think Jim has put in the time, the love that some of the gamers have for Diablo 3 or the Diablo franchise. So, you understand what you're looking at on screen here is my current Paragon level. It's 1,590. I've had 1,694 hours alone on my Witch Doctor, which I haven't logged into the game for about a year. I know because Blizzard told me so. I had to kick a brutal addiction. If I had to add up all my clocked-in gameplay, it would be roughly about 3,300 hours. No fucking lie. With 13 of those hours just being on merely the Necromancer. It's right about the same time I managed to stop all this nonsense. It was odd that the Necro patch is what allowed me to kick my addiction from this game, because whatever was offered because of that just wasn't enough. Because Diablo, like most, if nothing everything offered by Blizzard, is anticipation. It's to keep you on that old hamster wheel, keep you wanting tomorrow. And I must admit, the desire to have a well-made Diablo likely wouldn't be healthy. So, till that end, on some level, I want to thank Blizzard for making a product in every imaginable way that no one would ever want. In defense of Blizzard, Diablo fans and potentially Blizzard fans are some of the most unhappy, bitchy, divisive people who I've ever met in my lifetime. To say that Blizzard, or at least Blizzard fans, will bend over backwards to bitch, you need look no further than their forum, the official Diablo 3 forum, that has consistently been bone fucking cancer. From the modding staff, especially the modding staff, who's been monitoring and editing out posts, not unlike Blizzard does with their Diablo 3 YouTube page, to every tedious little argument, no one can agree on whether it be storage space, whether we should get a sequel, a remaster, an expansion. But in my time on that forum, I've never heard someone going, I want a mobile game. And this isn't me coming to bitch just because this isn't for me. I don't own a Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch release of the game is for a game that's 5 years over. It just isn't for me. But I'm sure it's a fine point. Plus, it's just an old game. I'm sure that didn't take as much resources as Blizzard will act as if it had. The real fucking shame is that you'd have to go all the way back to Diablo 2, because something that was added to Diablo 3 that ruined what made Diablo Diablo. Diablo 3 had DRM. It was always online. Ergo, there was no way, shy of hosting your own server, to mod the game, which is legally frowned upon. I shouldn't have to look all the way back to Diablo Medean XL, that's Diablo 2's fan patch, to show how fans of the game were able to do far more with the game than even Blizzard North could do. This gentleman here, using the term loosely, is Wyatt Chang, and
we don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys.
He's done some good things for the game, that being Diablo 3. But that night, at BlizzCon, he came out on stage and turned into Jay Wilson.
And then we doubled it.
Jay Wilson was a man at Blizzard who who every time had fans tell him about Diablo 2 would say, you remember things in the game that simply weren't there, and ignoring players for their desire for player versus player content. Jay Wilson was also the person who made Diablo 3 bright and cartoony. He made the goddamn game into World of Warcraft. It's funny we can now look back at that and say, wow, those were the good old days. Wyatt Chang came out on stage, and when he was criticized, his response was, what, you guys don't have cell phones? It bothers me that people out there are making excuses for Wyatt. He took that paycheck. No one made him make that remark on cell phones. He should have just turned to basically the classic Diablo 3 modding staff line, you guys should be grateful. When Diablo 3 was in its early riddled stages with bugs, the forum staff's answer more or less was, fuck you, we have your money. Does this sound familiar? We don't have to look to other examples outside of Blizzard. Well, it's going to be on a phone, so I'm assuming it's going to be impossible to mod. And seeing as how most of us are assuming this game is going to be a game wrecked with pay-to-play options, I doubt Blizzard will give us a way to remove those. The game didn't look horrible. The trailer looks fine. I suppose the thing ran on your average phones, but let's suppose it had a one-time only $60 purchase price. At best, at very best. That's a warm bucket of mediocre, to be fair. One build per character, maybe two that worked for pushing deep into the game. That's what I remember for Diablo 3. I'm assuming the game will still have Paragon, I'm guessing, which I can't imagine will be a fun experience on a tiny screen for hours and hours. That won't lead to conducive or enjoyable for any amount of time that seems to go along with this level of gameplay. This reminds me of Star Wars. It would have been fun to turn to the current people and going, you killed it. You fucking bastards, you killed it. But let's be honest, this has been dead for a long time. And that's why Diablo was chosen. If this went horribly wrong, of all Blizzard's properties, the one they could afford to lose the most, be it StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, or World of Warcraft, the one that Blizzard gave the least of a rat's ass about, will always be Diablo. If this was such a good idea, they would have done it to their biggest cash cow. So I'll put it to you this way. What can we do? If you really want to teach Blizzard a lesson, stop buying their crap. If you have a World of Warcraft subscription, you need to cancel it. You need to tell Blizzard on social media, I will no longer support Blizzard games or subscriptions as long as Blizzard continues to pursue the mobile monetized market. And you need to tell them that your decision is final. If Blizzard starts to lose money, which it is rather amusing to hear that their stock has plummeted, where these matters, maybe we can finally get them to listen. Now, if you're a Blizzard fan who doesn't care about Diablo, if this works and makes Blizzard money, how long will it be before, say, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm, or anything else I'm forgetting about winds up becoming a mobile game? After all, if something can be made cheaper and it could still make money, why wouldn't Blizzard do that? This is FNGR. Good night, good luck. Naturally, there's been a bit more news that's dropped before I ever got around to making this video, so I had to scrap that send-off there. Mark Kerr is a former team leader from Blizzard who's done work on WoW and his previous work, little-known system named the 3DO. He also did some work on a game I owned. It's called Way of the Warrior. He's also worked on StarCraft, Diablo 2, Warcraft 3, Frozen Throne. Here is his response. Bear with me, his grammar is about as bad as mine. Blizzard gamers are not simply smug and entitled, nor are they toxic. Yeah, that's case by case in my opinion. They are most certainly are not mad about the mobile version of Diablo because they hate Wyman. Careful, Mark. They'll take away that Twitter check mark away from you. Since I was a producer at Diablo 2, a lot of people have been asking for my thoughts on the whole Diablo Immortal fiasco, but what you are seeing is Blizzard doesn't understand gamers anymore. There is nothing wrong with making a mobile version of Diablo, and I would have wanted one as an option. But the way they hinted at it, as it's presented, the failure of Blizzard's management to predict the backlash is a cause for my surprise. Blizzard used to really be gamer-driven. Blizzard coyly played up the Diablo hype, which was a good move, but failed to anticipate how the PC-based audience was going to expect a PC-based announcement. And following all that hype with a different product is a huge bait-and-switch moment. Aside to my audience, as well as I've been playing Diablo, and this bait-and-switch tactic doesn't feel new. I've played Diablo 2 as far back, maybe longer than 2 years before D3 was launched. My memory is a bit foggy, it certainly has been a while. Blizzard has said now they are working on multiple Diablo projects. They really should have dropped a teaser for their PC-based product alongside their mobile announcement if that's the case. See, that's the thing, I don't think Blizzard had anything in the works. Wyatt Chang gave no teaser. A place as big as BlizzCon could have maybe gotten away with some concept art even, for either D4 or even for a D3 expansion. It would have gone over far better than just dropping off a mobile game announcement. But that's just me. It would have been a little underwhelming for people who bought tickets, hotel rooms, plane tickets, dare I say even went as far as to take time off work, but it would have been better than nothing for the people who made the way out to that convention. Continual thoughts from Mark Kerr included that literally any Diablo fan could have told you this. And back in the day, Blizzard never would have had to ask. Again, I'm not familiar with that Blizzard. So this must have certainly been well over half a decade ago, likely far more. But Kerr's golden moment was, refreshingly, when he stated that it's not about blaming the fans. Keyword, not blaming the fans yet. He pointed out that there were zero apologies made to the fans, and even called out some journalists who were dumb enough to blame your fans for your own PR mistakes. There are some really bright people in the world, talented people, but ultimately at the end of the day, the customer is and always will be right. I understand artistic integrity, but we're talking about a fucking mobile game made by Blizzard of all things. Or rather, a subcontracted out company that ultimately is big into monetizing their mobile experiences. Has mocking your audience for whatever they prefer to buy ever worked? Here is a tweet from Will Powers, who somehow made it known that female gamers love mobile games. Ladies, Will Powers basically is implying that you are pleb tier, that you have no skill whatsoever, and ultimately adore a medium that can more or less throw hundreds of dollars away for a cookie clicker experience. Don't you feel that much more empowered knowing that Will Powers is protecting your image? I pray to God Will Powers will never defend Mexicans. What a backhanded jagoff. The closest I've known for women loving mobile games would have been Pokemon Go, which I'm pretty sure, whether I like it or not, seemed to cross the line on genders back and forth, up and down. There are plenty of female gamers out in the world today who go across multiple platforms, and it is mind-numbing that I even have to say that out loud. Seriously, ladies, Will Powers thinks that you're all off playing Angry Birds. I bet Powers has this complete ass-backwards perception of enlightenment, that he's picturing his ideal woman with her iPhone out in the kitchen, or maybe behind her boss's desk, and him standing up for this poor wilting flower, and this is somehow going to get him brownie points. Next time you have a thought, Will, let it go. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.